Welcome, everyone. It is a beautiful Friday. Indeed, it is. Be strong and courageous. Let me read that scripture to you. Deuteronomy 31, verse 6. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Well, who is the Lord your God? Well, the law is the law. The law is everywhere at all times. Everywhere at all times. And the reason why it reminds you to be strong and courageous is simply because you know you have the power within you to call those things that are not as though they were and they become. So why should you be afraid of something? You don't have to be afraid of anything because the law does not encourage fear. It does not. It does not create fear. So it will never ask you to be afraid. So it says to you to be strong because it does not create weakness. Think about that. It does not create weakness. We do, as people, create weakness and fear in our lives, but the law does not create it. It doesn't. However, as within, so without. So it says to you to be strong and courageous. No fear. The law is very clear. Very, very, very clear. It says to you, the all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. As within, so without, as above, so below. So now it says to you, who do you want to be? Who do you say that you are? And if you say, well, I'm unsure, then it says, be strong and courageous. Be strong and courageous. If you notice, I'm afraid is a feeling. You feel afraid, thus you behave in that manner. But when you are commanded to be strong, it's telling you how to be. Be strong and courageous. What is your situation today? Well, it's not that the situation is irrelevant. You are being told how to handle the situation. You're being told how to be. Remember, Deuteronomy also tells you to, I choose, what does it say? I put before you life and death, but choose life. It says to choose. You have many things to choose from, but choose life. Choose life. Why is that? Because in this life, we must be bold. We must be strong. Strong and courageous. The law tells you you can overcome any situation, any trial or tribulation. Shoot, it tells you you don't even have to struggle, is what it says. If you don't see struggle or anticipate struggle or create struggle, then you won't have it. The universe is a mental creation. As within, so without, as above, so below. Oh, but Angela, what do you mean I don't have to struggle? Just what I said. I said what I said. When you find struggle in the law, let me know. You ever walk down the street and see grass growing out of the sidewalk? Did it look like it struggled? But it's growing through the sidewalk, though. How did it get there? Well, it had to be strong, for one. You know how strong concrete is? Sidewalk, and then grass is growing through it. It didn't struggle to get there, it just grew. So you have to be strong as well. Be strong and courageous. That is the command, to be strong and courageous. So it doesn't matter what your situation is, you already know how you have to be. You already know what you are suggested to be. So, what does the situation matter? All situations bend to the law because situations are created. So, if the situation has been created, it is governed by law. So, you use the law and be strong and courageous while you use the law. It does not matter what scenario you can conjure up in your mind, it is governed by law. It is a mental universe. The mind creates it, the mind can change it. So that is why you are encouraged to be strong and courageous, in spite of what your situation is. Because as we know, every single problem has the seed of the solution within it. So if you know that, why would your situation scare you? Hmm? You already know that every problem has a solution. Why? Because every cause has its effect, and every effect its cause. If you know the cause, you can predict the effect. If you know and experience the effect, you can trace and find the cause. Where in there do you hear, cower in the corner, be scared, be afraid, be very afraid? Where do you hear that? You don't. The law does not even insinuate it. It tells you how to be because it knows what it is and how it works. So your strength and your courage, you don't draw them from nowhere. Because of the law, your effect is strength and courage. Hmm. Today, that is your missive. That's your encouragement to be strong. Why be strong? What's the alternative? If you lower the vibration, well, you'll be weak. And we all know what happens to the weak, don't we? Mm. It doesn't mean to be strong so you can plow through the fields and overtake someone else. It means to be strong so you have the strength to get through life itself. Strength is required. Why do you think you eat and feed your body? So it can be strong. If the body is strong, hmm, it walks for a great distance. It runs for a great distance because it is strong. Courageous. Why should you be courageous? Because you should be able to open your mouth and speak your mind. You should be able to what? Decide or make choices. That's why you need courage. Indeed. So what are you going to choose today? Be strong and courageous. You know. Listen, the law goes before you. The law is after you. It is through you. It is around you. Sounds to me like you're well protected. Hmm. Hmm. It is even in every fiber of your being. Every cell in your body is where the law is. How do you think, what's that word? I want to say ATP and the mitochondria in your cells, when they have that burst of energy, cause and effect. So try as you might, we cannot escape the law. It is there from a cellular level within your body. And that is what it's doing, right? That's what it's doing. So then, be strong and courageous. Be strong and courageous in spite of what you think or what you feel. Oh, but I don't know how this is going to turn out. What does the law say? The law says every cause has its effect. And if you know the cause, you can predict the effect. So again, how do you not know? You see, what you don't know is how the roots just bust out of that seed. That's what you don't know. You don't need to know that the roots bust out. You don't need to know how they bust out. You just need to know that they do. When you plant your garden, you're not hoping for the best. You already know that you reap what you sow. That's the law. You reap what you sow. You can't reap it if you didn't sow. Like, come on now. If you say, I have peas in my garden, well, then you planted peas. Somebody planted peas if you're eating peas. It is law. So again, why should you be afraid? There's no justifiable reason to be afraid. None. And there's no justifiable reason to be weak either. Do you want a weak belt? No, because you need to hold up your pants around your waist. You need weak heels on your shoes? No, you need to be able to walk in those. You need a strong heel. You want to put that swing on the branch of an oak tree? Well, it better be a strong branch. Indeed. This is law. Inescapable. But would you want to? Would you want to escape the law? No, because it brings you peace of mind. And when you have peace of mind, well, then you can create anything. You can get through anything, especially if you're the one creating it. You know how it's going to turn out, so you can get through it. You built it. It's like a seamstress making an outfit for herself and then hoping that she fits it. Did you or did you not make it? Did you or did you not measure? You created that outfit for yourself, then you will fit into it. So when we go through life and we create our situations and our experiences, can you or can you not get through it? Part of that is sometimes we don't even know that we've created it. Sometimes we don't know that we have created it or had a hand in creating it. When you forget that you've created situations, that's why we're scared. Because we've forgotten. Because if you remember, well, I did this, piece of cake, I can get through it. At every turn, the law encourages strength and courage. Day in and day out. So when you make a choice, do so with courage. I can do this. Well, I can do this. I can do this. You know why? Because when you make a decision based on courage, you know you'll do it. Because you'll act accordingly. But if you make a decision based on fear, well, then you have to behave fearfully. It was the seed that was planted. So do yourself a favor. Be strong and courageous. But I don't know that I can. When you have those moments of doubt, remember what doubt is. Doubt is simply showing you that you believe or you know something else already. There's something else filling the space. That's what doubt is showing you. I don't think this can happen because you already believe something else. That is all doubt is. It is just simply showing you what you believe already or what you know to be true already. That is all it is. Doubt does not tell you whether a thing is possible or impossible. It is just telling you what you believe already. So if you encounter your doubt and you say, whoa, wait a minute, there's got to be a better way, and you learn a better way, well, then you no longer have doubt because you've replaced what you previously knew with something else. So then how can doubt be there? It cannot remain. You see, at every single turn, the law encourages you to be your best self, day in and day out. The law encourages you to be honest with yourself. It says, hey, polarity, where are you now and what are you doing? Do you like that? And you get to say, well, yeah, I like it. I'll continue. Or you can say, no, it is no longer acceptable. So then polarity will ask you, where would you rather be? And what would you rather be doing? So then you get up and you do those things that you said you would rather be doing. Again, be strong and courageous. At every turn, it is showing you. At every single turn, the law is showing you who you are. That's all it's doing. Because that's what's being recreated. If you plant seeds of fear, you can only get fearful experiences. So if you find that you are afraid, polarity asks, where are you now? What are you doing? Well, I'm afraid. Why? Because. And you list all the reasons why you're scared. Be honest with yourself. So when you see all the reasons why you're afraid, now look at them, because every problem has the seed of a solution in it. Well, I'm afraid because what if they don't like me? Oh, so you're afraid to be alone? You're afraid of being rejected? Well, that's only a feeling. That's only a feeling. To be acceptable, you must accept yourself. You cannot change for someone else. Because, listen, how often do we change our minds? Oh, Lord, now. Sometimes humanity can be so wishy-washy. We're so on the fence. So there must be one thing you're sure of, and that is who you are. You have to be sure of who you are. Oh, you got to be strong in that. You got to be bold and courageous in that. When you know who you are, you act accordingly. They don't know who you are, so how can you behave? So that means you cannot base your behavior on the whims of someone else. You must act according to your own inner conviction, your own inner knowing. This is why, if you say, I'm such a people pleaser, why are you a people pleaser? If you're honest with yourself, you'll see you don't want to be rejected. But you cannot please anybody, because what pleases me today may displease me tomorrow. That is unsustainable. So that's why the focus always, if you remember the law, as within, so without, as above, so below. That is what determines things. So if you know who you are, Well, then, you act according to that. That's why you should be strong. Because if you're not, you will bend and pull and push yourself into many a pretzeled position and still displease someone else. Because you do not know what drives them. So how can you please them? But but I so want to be liked. Well, then you must start as a seed does. Everything that seed requires, all the genetic information, is within that seed. So what is within you? Now you see why the law says to be strong and courageous? This is why it is imperative you know who you are, what you are. Because that is what is always going to be recreated. It is law. If you're holding a red bell pepper seed in your hand, you can be guaranteed you will be biting into a red bell pepper. Because that is what the seed contains. So what do you contain? Because that is what you will project out into the world. It is law. So if you have thoughts of, you know what, I can do these things. But you see what overwhelms us? We bite off more than we can chew. What does that mean? It means we want to change everything about us. Dude, you got to start with the one little tiny thing in front of your face. It always is going to present itself. That is where you begin. You see, when you start there with that one thing that you see that always presents itself, well, then you're not overwhelmed because you're looking at one problem and you're seeing the solution. So what do? The solution. And then you move on because every cause has its effect and every effect its cause. This is why we are commanded. Well, I wouldn't say the law commands, it governs. It governs. Look at it. It tells you it's a mental creation. So if it is a mental creation, well then what do we expect? Whatever's going on mentally is what you will experience on the outside. So this is why it always encourages you. It encourages you to be your best self at all times. Well, I don't know how to be my best self. Well, I'm sure there's something that ruffles your feathers. Start there. If you don't like it, what is it that you don't like about that thing you do? Oh, so if you don't like doing that, what's the solution then? It's right inside of your problem. I don't like arguing. Well, then what do you prefer? Peace of mind? Discernment? Yes. So the next time you are presented with an argument, you remember what you said about yourself. I don't like to argue. So what do you like instead? Peace of mind and discernment. So then instead of wanting to open your mouth to argue, open your eyes and your ears. You listen, you observe, you discern, but you don't engage in an argument. Why not? Because you said you don't want to. So if you know what you don't want, right? That's the problem. So the solution is right inside of it. You don't want to argue, then you must want peace. So you name what it is that you want instead. That's what it is. I don't want to be lonely. Oh, so that means you want to have friends, companions? Well, then what kind of conversations do you want to have? Well, that depends on you. What do you like? You notice how If you scroll through dating apps, whichever way you swipe, why do you swipe in the direction that you do? It's based upon what you have in what now? In common. So, how do you know what you have in common with someone if you do not know what you are? It will always come down to you. And it is not a judgment that it does. It's not judging you to say, see who you are. It's not doing that to you. It is simply saying, this is who you present. Is this what you want to recreate? Well, then you answer accordingly. This is why honesty with yourself is so important. You cannot pretend. Oh, yeah, I'm the great pretender. No, you cannot pretend. You must answer the question honestly. That's like knowing you have a cheese allergy, but then you go and you eat cheese. Why? You cannot pretend. You must know who you are. So when the law says be strong and courageous, what does it want you to be strong and courageous in? What you know. What is it that you know? Well, if it's the law, because the law is unchanging, the law is a catalyst. Think about that for a moment. What is a catalyst? A thing that creates change without being changed itself. The law does not change, it remains the same. The process of creation is the same. Day in and day out. Know what you want and project it outward from your conscious to your subconscious mind, and all the necessary components come together in that space to give you the experience. If that doesn't make any sense, well, how does creation happen? You are a potter at the wheel, and in your mind's eye, you see an object. You must mold and shape that clay on the wheel before you to get the object to take shape from your conscious mind into the clay. That is creation every time. Something is projected into the womb and life comes back. Every time. That's what you know for a fact. You know there's day and night. Day and night. You know there is. You also know there's high tide and low tide. Don't make me do it. The tide is high. Right? We know that the law of rhythm is there. So then, where's the rhythm in your life? What's the rhythm in your life? A habit. A thing that you do the same way every time. I can predict your behavior based upon your habits. Well, you'll know a man by his habits. Alan Watts. So this is why the law says, be strong and courageous. Be strong and courageous. You have to be strong and courageous. Not so you can be a bully. Come now. Why would you want to be a bully anyway? Oh, because you were bullied? Yeah, because it felt good then, so you should do it to somebody else. Because it felt so great being done to you? That doesn't make any sense. That is pure raw emotion. And if you allow your life to be governed by emotion, you become unpredictable. Because then you're at the whim of the emotion. Who's in control of the emotion? The emotion is in your body, reliant upon your senses. You have the final say. You have the final say. So be strong and courageous. Let us take a moment, shall we, to welcome everyone into the space this morning. Hello, Twitter. Cuddles? Cuddles. You are awake. Well, Cuddles. You are early, baby. It's good to see you. Hey, Jeff. And oh, hello, Elle. And Dino. Hey, hey. Thank you all for being here in the Twitter sphere. It's good to see y'all. Yes, it is. Fan base, who's here? Joyce, hey, Fat Boy, KZ, Flo, Smiles, Miss McQueen, Summer Rose, Matthias, Yolanda, Zola, you are here. Thank you for being here on such a lovely Friday. It is a good day, is it not? Yes, it is. Who is here on Facebook? Indy, hey. And who's here on YouTube? Queen Red Pill, Cyber, Apple. Well, it is good to see you, the better man, Shea Butter. Ruby, hello. Hey, David. Let's see. What are you saying to me? Two opposing things cannot occupy the same space simultaneously. You can't push and pull a thing at once. Fear and faith cannot exist together. Strength and courage cannot exist at the same time as fear. But of course, this is why polarity is telling you it's two things that are the same in their nature. That's why fear and courage are the same. It is simply the rate of vibration that tells you which one you are. Courage? It's going to be like that fire. You're fired up, you're ready to go, you can do it. Fear, on the other hand, moves much slower. The body is tense. You're almost frozen in place. So if you raise the vibration, you look at what happens in any good army. What do? They get you worked up. They raise your vibration. They move you from fear to courage. Yeah. Oh, the better man says it's a great topic. Hey, we love you. We love you. Hey, Ruby. Aw. Ruby says she's grateful for all of the stories that we share every week. But of course, this is how we learn. Yes. Mm. Iapo says, I used to allow thoughts of what could go wrong. Yes. Yes. But here's the thing, because he also says, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? But you cannot fail. This is the whole point of the law. You cannot fail. You cannot fail. You know why you can't fail? But you're here. Creation is always occurring. Every cause has its effect, and every effect its cause. Everything moves. That is the law of vibration. So there can be no stillness. You are designed for success. So you cannot fail. If you notice, you say, I'm afraid of failing. What was that? You are afraid of failing? That is only a fear. It is not fact. The law says every cause has its effect. So if you do this, this will happen successfully every single time. Try it. You just might like it. The only way to learn is to experience it. Do it. Well, I shouldn't say the only, because you don't have to go through it to understand what it could possibly be like. When you look at a situation, you're like, ooh, I wouldn't like to do that. See? You already know that situation is not optimal. So you don't have to go through it to understand that. But if you look at another situation, you say, oh, I'd like to try that. Well, then that's different because that appears to be rather tasty. So then you want to experience it. You see, we are always successful. Yes. How so? Because you're creating causes and getting effects. The question is the effect desirable? That's the question. If the effect is undesirable, then what must you do? Oh, wait, complain? No, change the cause. At every turn, the law shows you how to be peaceful in your actions, how to walk with what? Peace in your heart. Because it says to you, every cause has its effect, and every effect its cause. It doesn't say to you, well, this cause. No. It doesn't say freak out. Oh, freak out. It doesn't say that to you. It doesn't say that. It says every cause has its effect. If the effect is what you want, well, then carry on. If it is not, change the cause. Nowhere in there does it say to have a meltdown. Do you know why that is? Because you're governed by law, not emotions. You're not governed by emotions. Your emotions are showing you something. They're telling you, hey, you're going in the direction of what you said you wanted, so it will feel good to the body. Or it'll say, oh no, you should stop, oh no. Well, then you're going in the opposite direction. So now you can auto-correct. This is what we do. You can auto-correct, but if you give in to that emotion without having understood the message from it, well, now you're being ruled by an emotion. And as I said, they are erratic, aren't they? Let somebody cut you off in traffic and we'll see. You want to be governed by that? No. So be strong and courageous in the law, always. Yeah, be strong and courageous in the law. A friend of mine said he was having trouble doing something he was trying to do. I handed I handed that friend a piece of paper and told him to try to tear it. He immediately ripped it in half with no problem. I told him he failed because I said, try to rip it. By definition, trying to do something means you aren't doing it. But that's exactly it. You know what I'm going to do. Yoda, do or do not. There is no try. But you see, it's become such a part of our vocabulary that it hinders progress. Because we don't taste our words before we spit them out. Oh, I learned that from my old folks. Taste your words. Why is that? You should always taste them. That's why when people say, but I tried this technique, I tried that technique. I'm like, yeah, but are you doing it? Right? Love it, Iapo. Yes, exactly. We don't try to do things, we do them. A not. I see you, baby. Sugar visions. And yes, perhaps yesterday you were part of the replay gang for testimonies. There were some beautiful testimonies yesterday of how people have changed their lives by simply applying the law. You see, when you apply the law to your life, you are being molded and shaped, not to be something, but you're being molded and shaped into what you actually are. What you actually are, not who your mama said you should be, not who your daddy said you should be, not who the preacher man said you should be. The law shapes you into who you truly are. Well, what is that? Well, apply the law and find out. There's another way of saying that, isn't there? Apply the law and find out who you are. That's what it is. Oh, always reminds me of that one phrase in the movie. How's your faith now, Templar? And he goes, come a little closer and I'll show you. That is the encouragement from the law. You know, the scripture says, draw close to me and I will draw close to you. But that's actually what's happening with law. When you get around the law, you take the shape of what? The law itself. What you really are. And so then you'll recognize that there is only abundance. Marjorie, you will understand there's only abundance. You'll understand there's only peace of mind when you get around the law. Remember Psalm 91? He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. That's the law. Walk with the law. Move with it. Bend with it. Rock with it. And you'll begin to see who you truly are. And when you see that for yourself, you'll wonder where you were this whole time. Yeah. Remember that one scene in Black Panther when the guy with the vibranium arm, he took the hammer when Killmonger went to the museum, right? And he took the hammer out and it was all rusted on the outside. And he shook it and all the rust fell off and then you saw what it really was. Yeah. That's what the law does to us. We think we are something else. But the law says, no, 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 no. When I'm done with you, you'll know. You'll know who you are. You'll know. All the dross will be gone. All the impurities will be gone. What are those? Pray, tell. What are those impurities? Oh, I'm so not worthy. Impurity number one. Nobody likes me. Impurity number two. What do you think we struggle with all day? Thoughts. And we allow those thoughts to have control. Who has control? The thinker. Not the thought. The thinker does. Who's the thinker? I'm talking to the man in the mirror. You, your reflection. Look in the mirror. You are the thinker. So that means you're not ruled and governed by your thoughts, but you use those thoughts to create. So make them good thoughts. Wait, what kind of seeds do you want to plant in your garden? Moldy ones? Well, we all know how they will turn out. So you can't have moldy thoughts. Come on. So be strong and courageous. You got this. There's that old reggae song. Life is what you make it, right? Life is what you create it to be. But here we are thinking that life is what somebody said it should be. How does George know what your life should be? But George isn't you. That's why you must be strong in making your own decisions. But what if I make the wrong decision? Well, I can't believe I just smacked my lips. You cannot make a wrong decision. You, however, can make a decision from a place of courage, or you can make a decision from a place of fear. If you know the cause, you can predict the effect. If you make a decision from a place of fear, you already know how it's going to turn out. But if you make a decision from a place of courage, you also know how that will turn out. Do you not? But of course you do. You already know. It's not a surprise. You know. Because you see, we ask ourselves questions, not to get the answer sometimes, you know. Boy, we're a stubborn bunch. Sometimes we are stubborn. You have to use that stubbornness. Yeah. It's not bad to be stubborn. It's not good to be stubborn. Use it to bring about your change. Tenacity is required. Persistence is required. So you use your stubbornness to stay the course. You don't use your stubbornness to talk yourself out of the change you want to create. It is all a matter of how you use the tools you've been given. Oh, but stubbornness is such a weakness for me. Listen, if anybody knows stubborn, it is me. My father always says, "Oh, you're so stubborn." But it is that same stubbornness that fuels my change because I don't judge my stubbornness. This is the thing here. Don't judge, assess, look at it. Is that behavior going to take you toward or away from what you said you are? Then that's how you act accordingly. That's how you choose your behavior. This is going to get me closer. Well, then you do it. This is going to take me away from. Then don't do it. How can you be right or wrong? You cannot fear failure because the law makes you successful. It just does. You will successfully reap what you have sown. Successfully. So you cannot fail. So that is the attitude, strength, and courage. That is the attitude you must walk through this life with. That's the attitude. Don't. I got a new attitude. Yeah, I keep telling you. That's the attitude you walk through life with. I can do this. I can do all things. Well, how do you know you can do all things? First of all, you have to have an image of what it is you want to do. Because without that image, it cannot be recreated. You have to have the blueprint. How does the general contractor know how to build the house? Well, he unrolls the plans. He's got a blueprint. So you need a blueprint. You got to know what it is you want. Oh, Jesus. You got to know when to hold them. Lord, y'all. You have to know what it is that you want to create. That is what makes it possible to create. So you're going to be strong in that knowledge. You should be. You should be strong and courageous in that knowledge. The apple. I had an epiphany. Even when we fall off the wagon, pick the thing we are changing. We not only have not failed, but we are not trying either. We only experienced a stumble as we are doing. Yes. Yes. You know what? It's funny you say that because I said something similar yesterday at testimony time. I guess y'all gonna have to catch that replay if you missed it. You see, we think things are stumbling blocks in our way. And we smack our forehead and go, "Don't! Why do I keep doing this? Why does this always happen to me?" Right? We think that's a bad thing. But let me draw your attention to something. If you did not say, "Don't! Why does this always happen to me?" If you didn't say that, you would not know what to change. You see, when you are polarized in the direction of your change, all of the things that once held you back will crop up one at a time for you to deal with. And so they might look like a stumbling block. They may look like a nuisance. Again, why am I doing this again? Because you didn't fix it right there and then. You complained. That's why. So when you stumble across it, look at it. You say, "Oh my God, I keep doing the same thing." Right. So polarity is asking you, where are you now? What are you doing? "Oh man, I just did this thing again." Okay. So what do you want to do instead? And you look at the thing you just stumbled over and you said, "Man, I always always pick the same kind of thing. Well, that's showing you're having the same thought. You're having the same behavior. You're doing the same behavior. That's why you keep picking the same thing. So, what behavior are you doing? That is what's causing you to stumble. So, what are you going to change? That behavior. So, is the stumbling block a nuisance? Or is it fulfilling what you set out to do? You said, I don't want to be that anymore. I want to be this now. So, you're not stumbling over it. It's showing you the behavior so you can change the behavior from what you were doing to your new self. Polarity from where you are to where you want to be. So, is it a bad thing to stumble? Mm, no, because without that stumble, you don't see what to change. So, don't cuss out your stumble. Why I oughta. No, don't cuss it out. Look at it. What's it telling you? It's saying to you, hey, do you want to keep doing this same behavior? Because what happens? Every cause has its effect. If you know the cause, you can predict the effect. You keep doing the same action. You have to stop saying, why is this happening to me? Because you're doing the same action. So to stumble over it is showing you what to change. Yes. So when you see it, now you can say, I see what I've been doing this whole time. No wonder I've been tripping all over the place. I've been tripping. No wonder I've been tripping all over the place. Oh, good. I did that. Well, I'm going to do this instead. And you get up and you do the new behavior. Why? Because you said you wanted to. And you know that if you change the cause, you have changed the effect. So don't hate the stumble. Don't hate the stumble. That should be a song. Don't hate it. Don't cuss it out. Don't act a fool. Assess what made you stumble. You see? That's how you do. Listen, that's how you do the change. Because what happens, what we do is we stumble and we stay down there and we go, you see, my life sucks. It's never going to change. That's what we do. And the thing is saying, hey, but just change this behavior right here. And you'll be able to walk scot free. Just change that behavior. See? That's why you don't allow your emotions to rule you. I digress. Right? This is what it is. I'm trying to catch all of them. Just give me a second. Yes, I used much strength and courage in these last 3 years. A doctor told me 3 years ago that I wasn't going to make it if I didn't keep coming to him. Well, that same day, she stopped going. Queen Red Pill. Now, that's what you call stubborn. Oh, yeah, I'm going to show you. But that's what it is. Yes. And David, he's got a doctor's stubborn face. He's got a doctorate in stubborn. I love it, David. A guy went to see his therapist. He says, Doc, my wife says I'm a narcissist. The therapist asks, how long has she been saying that? The guy says, well, who cares? I thought we were talking about me here. Oh, Lord Jesus. Listen, if we don't laugh, you understand, you have to laugh at these situations. Because now the next time you stumble and you get up and you brush your knees off, you'll say, well, hot diggity dog, I know what it is. I got to change now. That's what you say. I see the behavior I have to change. And you laugh about it. You know why you laugh? You laugh because you understand. You laugh because I get it now. You laugh because you're free. This I trust this is making sense today. Queen Red Pill says every day I look in the mirror and I tell myself, I am healthy. You make the declaration. And so now, every time you remind yourself that you're healthy, and you come across something that contradicts your health, you'll change the behavior. Because you said you're healthy. So then your thoughts, words, actions all gonna match. So if you're doing something that doesn't match health, you're gonna know about it. You'll see it in your life and you go, oh, look at that. That does not correspond with healthy. So let me change that behavior. You see why you don't judge? Oh, Lord, now. Sugar Visions, I know Apple and David are these two peas in a pod. They are our resident comedians. Marjorie says, I just remember something Neville said, that when we ask the law for money and we get it, we forget who gave it to us and we start using the money to get us out of our problems, giving your power away. Remember, we give our power to things. That's what we do. We just say, here, take my power. It's not the thing, it is you who gives a command. When you declare, you know I got to be Southern for a moment. Well, I do declare. What do you declare? I am is your declaration. Yeah, Marjorie, sometimes we do forget, but that's why every time you look in the mirror, you are reminded. What are you reminded of? You're reminded of who you are. And when you see who you are, well, then you act accordingly. That's what the law does for us every day. Every single day, that's what the law does. Cyber, I was just thinking about you. And here you are. And you said, because you see EAPO. So everybody is you pushed out the acronym for that. Because when you see EAPO, yes, it does, doesn't it? Well, they can because of the law of correspondence. As within, so without. You will encounter who you are along the way every single time. This is why you must be strong and courageous. You must be. Come on now. Why would you want to be anything else? Hmm? Be strong and courageous. Be strong and courageous. There's a reason for that. There's a reason. When we are strong, right? When we are strong in our minds, it'll be damn near impossible for somebody to come along and tell you who they think you should be. And you'll go, okay. If you're strong in your mind, you can hold up what they said and say to yourself, that sounds nice, but no, this is who I am. Also, you'll have the strength that if something is presented to you, you can look at it and go, well, that would be of a benefit to me. I'll use that. That's part of what being strong in your mind is. Having the capacity to, you're the one making these decisions. You are the one. You are the one. Yes, you're the one making these decisions. So make them. Because if you make a decision from fear, you know what you can expect. Same goes with if you make a decision from courage, you know what to expect. It's not going to surprise you. It will not jump out of the corner and go, surprise! It won't do that to you. Because the outcome depends upon the cause. You cannot have an effect without a cause. If something happened, you can be sure something caused it to happen. And here's the beautiful part. You're the cause. You are the cause. So walk with that. Digest that part. You are the cause. How is that possibly something to fear? How is that something to be discouraged about? It isn't. Do you know why? Listen to the law again. If you know the cause, you can predict the effect. So if you are the cause, uh, well, then you know what's gonna happen. You know what the outcome is. But you see, if George is creating a cause in your life, well, then you should be scared because you don't know how it's gonna turn out. So why would you not want to be accountable for you? Why would you not want to be responsible for you? Be strong and courageous. Be accountable. Be strong and courageous in your life. If you find yourself sitting and rocking in the corner, what's got you in the corner? Hmm, look at it. Don't be scared of it. Look at it. It is not your enemy. It has you in the corner. It's got you on the ropes. Look at it. What is it? It's how you're behaving that's got you on the ropes and how you feel about your behavior. So if you say, ugh, this, well, like totally not do. If you say that, well, then what behavior will do? Then do that behavior. Sounds like courage to me. See, now you're no longer on the ropes. Don't, I'm not saying to you to suppress your emotions. Let me just clarify this real quick. One does not stifle emotions. Emotions are effects. You can't stifle them, but you can observe them. They are an effect, so there was a cause, right? So you don't stifle your emotions. They are effects. You can't stifle them, but you acknowledge them. You say, hey, what's this showing me here? This is showing me something about me. And when you start recognizing that your emotions are showing you things about you, then you will stop with, you hurt me. Ain't nobody can hurt you. Come now. So what behavior do you want to change? You see how you're strong? You see? You see your strength? Well, start to walk in it. Start to walk in your strength. Well, you must walk in your strength. If you're thinking that you are strong and saying that you are strong, then you must walk in your strength. So that means when you recognize an undesirable behavior, you say, aha, I see you. And then you do the behavior that is desirable. And you continue to do the behavior that is desirable. Why? Because you said you don't want to do the undesirable. Huh? So then be strong and courageous. Mm. Sometimes when I'm going through things, no matter how bad, I think about a billion years in the future and the fact that whatever it will have whatever it is, it will have long passed one way or the other. Oh, but of course, when you look at it, when you look at it and you see it for what it is, you have just removed the power from it. You've removed the power. It has no more control over you now because you see it for what it is. It's an old behavior that you don't want to do anymore. So if you're looking into the future and you say, oh, well, that behavior has to change. Why does the behavior have to change? Sometimes we hold ourselves in unnatural states. Well, not unnatural, but prolonged states. We prolong things in our life when we don't need to, you know. When you say things like, I'm suffering, when you say things like, I'm suffering, well, you're prolonging the suffering. Why are you prolonging it? Because you keep doing the same behavior. But everything changes. Everything has to change because everything is moving. That is the law of vibration. Nothing stands still. So if you keep doing the same behavior, you are guaranteed the same results. So if you say, I don't like this thing in my life, what is the behavior? So be strong when you recognize that behavior and call it out. You say, oh, girl, that's what you're doing? Come on. And that's when you say, you can do better. See, you know why you can do better? Because you know better. Maya Angelou. When you know better, you do better. Does that sound like correspondence? That's the law of correspondence, as within, so without. So when you see that old behavior that's got you stumbling all about the place, get up, dust off your knees, and go, oh, that behavior? Okay. Okay, polarity. I see where I'm at and what I'm doing. Here's what I want to be doing, and you show it. So you change the behavior and you persist in your new behavior. Why would you persist in your new behavior? Because you want a different outcome. Everything changes. So when the undesirable behavior presents itself, be strong and courageous and do the new behavior. Marjorie just hit a home run. She says, we are the technique. Hey, jam, we are the technique. That's why you don't sweat the technique. Because you are the technique. You are the cause. So you see, it is a beautiful thing to know that you are the cause. Because when you are the cause, you know the effect. And when you know the effect, hey, what's that? Peace of mind. And that's all. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to hold y'all. I'm not going to hold y'all. Apple sticks and stones may break my bones. So for God's sake, don't throw any at me. It's true. It's a projection. That's why if somebody comes along and they start talking schmack to you, don't do what the human thing to do is and go, you talking to me? There's fighting words. Don't give into that nonsense. Observe that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. They can only spew forth what is within, just like you and I can only spew forth what is within us. So, see why you don't take offense? Don't take you don't have to be insulted. You don't have to be insulted. Oh, so somebody calls you dumb, somebody say you stupid, somebody say you ain't never gonna be anybody. That's how they talk to themselves. So how do you think they're gonna talk to you? So tell me again how it should affect you. It has no power over you because you can recognize the law of gender. Yes. Yeah. Why? Because you can discern now. You're no longer a small child. That's why it's so dangerous to tell small children those foolish things. Oh, that's not possible. Oh, you can't do that. Then they start to what? They take your word for it, and then they begin to create their lives from what you just put inside them. What do you think we're all doing? Living our lives from what's been put inside of us. That's why now, when you practice the art of discernment, strong and courageous, yes? When you practice the art of discernment and you see what you're doing, you experience what you're doing, now you can say, this is what I want. So I'll continue on. Or you'll say, not a lick of that. And you do the new behavior. Tell me again that you're weak. Oh, but Angela, I'm so scared to change. I've been this way for my whole life. Well, according to law, everything changes. That includes you, so you have to change. But by you being stubborn and using your stubbornness to hold yourself in a state of unchange, you are prolonging the pain. Talking about, I can't live anymore. Stop it. Of course you can. Oh, but Angela, you've never suffered, so how can you say it? I don't need to suffer to know that suffering is vile. I don't. So why do you want to prolong it? Change your behavior. That's why you don't judge yourself. Don't judge. Don't beat yourself up. The world is already beating us up. You know what I mean when I say that? Hmm. We're in this world. So don't you dare beat yourself up in your thoughts. Why? Why would you continue to do that? Oh, but I'm not good enough, Angela. You don't know. Where did you hear that from? That you're not good enough? What do they know? Do they know you? They don't know you. How do you know you're not good enough? You haven't done it yet. And the more, here's the beauty of the law, the more you do it, the better you get. So how can you not be good enough? Just keep doing it and you become good enough. Listen, you can give me every excuse you want, but the law will never leave you nor forsake you. It is a constant companion. So you see, you have everything within you to be strong and courageous. Everything. You got the whole world before you. How do you want to mold it and shape it? But I've never molded and shaped my world before. Oh, yes, you have. Really? Yes. You just didn't know you were doing it, but now that you know you're molding and shaping your world, well, have fun with it. Make it a good shape. Ah, children love ice cream. Well, then, create ice cream. Have fun with your creations. Be strong and courageous with them. Anyway, let me read this quote. Everyone is my teacher in that I may learn from them. Eric Allen. Well, thank you for that, Apple. Marjorie says, I just wrote on a paper the other day and boom, got my results. One sentence. But of course, whether you write it or you speak it, you declared it. You called those things that are not as though they were. So it doesn't have a choice but to become what you say. You are calling it in. As long as you know what it is that you want, you have called it into existence. You've given it form. You took it from formless to formed. So, be strong and courageous, my beautiful friends. Countdown initiated. Oh, wait, hold on. I broke up with a woman 10 years ago as she cried and said she couldn't live without me. I saw her in the grocery store the other day. I pointed to her down the aisle and yelled, Liar! Shoot. Iapo, where did you come from? Ah, jeez, give me strength, Lord. It reminds me of the song, I can't live if living is without you. Last I checked, it was that 30 seconds of oxygen we can't live without. See, emotions got us acting a fool up in here. Right? Let's do this countdown, y'all. Go through your day today and know. Don't believe me. Believe me means you're going to take my word. I don't want you to take my word for it. I want you to know it, which means you're going to have to experiment so you can experience your courage and your strength. You have it, so you might as well use it. That's like having diamonds and not wearing them. What's the point? That's like having food and not eating it. What is the point? So you have strength and you have courage. Use them. Use them. Okay. Anywho, I'll go now before you guys think I'm more crazy than I actually am. And to which my son always says, I don't think you're crazy, mother. I don't think it. I know. And he looks so innocent at me when he says that. He goes, I know you're crazy, mother. I know. To which I always respond, as within, so without. He came from me, did he not? I tell you, we are something else. Anyhow, I love you all and go through this weekend because testimony time is coming around again. So begin to recognize how you are molding and shaping your life and do it with what? Strength and courage. Strength, wisdom, and courage. Oh, anyways. 5, 4. Oh, uh, I don't know. I don't know. You know how to say your name because it's Nyanito. Nyanito. Is that how I say it? Anywho, welcome and thank you for being here, Jeff, darling. Hey, Cuddles and Elle. Thank you for being here in the Twitter sphere. I love you. I'll see you soon, y'all. I'll see you soon. Twitter is closed. Fanbase, thank you all for being here today on such a lovely day. My sweet Zola, Yolanda, Flo Smiles, Matthias, Joyce, Zarian, hello darling, Miss McQueen, KZ, hey, Summer Rose. I guess she's got to go to work, so she's gone now. I didn't get to sing her name again, but I did, didn't I? Anywho, fan base, I love you. I'll see you soon. Fan base is closed. So, YouTube, Facebook. Let me go here and so I can get into the chat because you know I like to drop confetti in here. I do. Thank you all for being here on such a lovely day. Yes, it is appreciated. It really is. So go forth and use your strength. Use your courage. Did I say that right? Use your courage. Well, thank you, Green Red Pill. Hey, Zola. Yes, we will have a great week. I don't know what we're going to do yet, but I don't know what we're going to do this weekend yet. I have no idea. You know how these young whippersnappers are. Mm-hmm. I know how I get to. I'm like, oh, look, I'm done. I've finished all my chores. And my bed says, come hither, darling. Come hither. And I'm like, you don't have to tell me twice. That's how it is around here. The minute I've finished everything that needs to be done for that day, my bed's just, come hither, darling. I've got something to share with you. And I'm like, I get a little closer and I say, well, tell me more, darling. Tell me more. I do have to make butter this weekend, though. Yeah. Gotta make some butter. Yeah. So go forth and enjoy. And you know that I love you all. I love you. Yes, E-Apple, thank you. And spread it in the chat. Have a great rest of the day and an awesome weekend. Yeah. Peace out, my beautiful friends. I love you.